Welcome to the Beyond Belief series, where we're taking a soulful look at the Bible. Here we explore our divine existence and get real about the conversations we were once afraid to have. This is esoteric insight, truth telling, and honest self investigation. We're sharing how old fear based stories have sparked an empowered shift in our awareness. It's going to be fun, y'all. It's live. It's safe to be here because we are definitely going beyond belief. You can find us live on YouTube Sundays at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and streaming on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and iHeartRadio. Be sure to follow the show, subscribe to the channel, and join the conversation. Leave us a kind rating or a comment if this speaks to your soul. All right, family, let's get into it. Welcome to the show. Hello, welcome back to the show, everyone. How are you, Da'vette? Good to see you, sister.
Hello. Hey, babe. How are you?
I'm doing so good. So, welcome back to the show, everyone. This is the Beyond Belief series where we are taking a look at these Bible scriptures and we are viewing
Yes.
them through an esoteric and a metaphysical lens. And Devet has been giving us a new perspective about the Bible, right? So this has been
Yeah.
good. Before we get into it, if this is your first time tuning into the show, please like and subscribe to the channel. It helps to push the content out as I am growing this amazing, informative, and forward thinking channel. If you are a returning champion, thank you so much for your support. I'm glad to see you, sister. Happy Sunday.
I am so glad to see you. How's your week?
It's been pretty good. I played pickleball all week. I know people are like, do you do anything else?
Do you do anything else? Yes, she does. She does a lot. But well, it was good seeing you this week. Like, I was so glad that we got to spend some time together. And you
I
are an
know.
amazing cook. And every time the vegetables, why did I forget my hummus? Oh my God.
Shout out to my vegan, my new vegan life, the the Niger goddess for teaching me how to cook plant based. So shout out to vegan
Oh
auntie
yeah.
also for helping
So
me
I
with my
love it. I love coming over
yes.
there eating.
Well, I'm glad. Well, you know what? I have been learning so much about myself through this conversation that we've been having about the Bible. And a few things that I've been learning is that I have complete stake in my own reality. The other thing I've
Absolutely.
been, yes, and that the Bible is a lot of allegory, y'all. It's not literal. Okay. It is all about my own consciousness. And I really appreciate you so much for coming, to this show and helping to break this down because I've been having a lot of conversations with people out there. And when I tell them that tithing is not about them, it's about, something else. It's about, you know, your own
Yeah.
reality. It's about you being whole, being, coming in that 10%, coming to the 90 and
Right.
you being your coming into your wholeness, and
Right.
everybody's eyes are like this, like mine. What?
Yeah.
So, but people are listening and people also have a different understanding based on our own conditioning and the way that we, were nurtured and so
Right. And the way
that's what it
we
is.
were given that whole experience, it was forced. And then it also had to, absorb a lot of our practices, but also keep its racist tendencies. So, we were just given this sterilized, control forward kind of thinking when it came to religion. And that has kept a lot of us, in the perpetual state of not having or not taking responsibility, not having a stake in your own existence, and seeing yourself as small.
Yes. Yes. Thank you. Yes. And I don't anymore. I see every day, Devette, every day. I see myself expanding.
Hmm. And that's what
And
we're supposed to do. That's exactly what we're supposed to do. Which this is why this lesson tonight that you are leading us into is great, because it starts right there. And that's why it is the very first law.
mm,
And once you introduce it, and we're going to come back in, and I'm going to put scripture
yeah.
with it, because I'm a mystical Christian, and that means that I still believe that the Bible has great nuggets for us when it is seen in an empowering way,
Hmm.
when it is seen in a way that frees my soul
Hmm.
from the limiting beliefs of this world,
Hmm.
what I have been conditioned to think and what I have had to condition myself to think. I'm
Hmm.
changing
Hmm.
the whole damn paradigm. You see what?
Yeah.
It's a shift
Yeah.
in paradigm.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
And this is a time where so many of us are awakening to that shift. And we are awakening right at this beautiful time of the age of Aquarius. I will reincarnate in this age a few times. This is just a beautiful time to be alive. Why? Because there's divine knowledge being poured into the earth that has not been released because we were not ready.
We weren't ready.
No,
We were not
no.
ready.
And so we had to live through the hypocrisy of the age of Pisces, the whole hiding, um, the the things like grandfather laws in that
Yeah.
would keep people from expanding in their consciousness, because you believe that there's only a certain amount of people, or those who are initiates should get it. But there's a shift. This is freaking the age of Aquarius. If I could just pull my sleeve up, I'm a freaking Aquarius. This is our age. Get ready for the knowledge. People
Yeah.
will, it's the knowledge age. That's why I'm so glad that we're going here. So let me hush. You go ahead.
No, because no, no, no. What you're saying, uh, because we've been kind of going back and forth, me and you, about this. This is a great time to be alive, right? And
Yeah,
I know you say that to me, and
I mean that.
I know you do, and I know you mean it. And you're not the only
Hmm.
one who means it. All of your mystical friends and sisters and brothers out there who are saying the same thing, and I'm looking at them like, what? And that's because what's coming, what has been buried has to come up and come out. And that's what's
Yes,
happening individually and collectively. So I'm definitely
yes,
going on my individuation here. So what's been coming up and coming out has not been very pleasant. It's been very emotional. So it
right.
hasn't been like, oh, I'm glad to
But
be
all of
alive.
that is so needed.
I
All of
know.
that.
Yes,
It's
I
it's
agree
it's
with
a
you.
needed practice.
Yes, yes. And but I want to say honestly today that there has been a slight shift. I said slight. That
Hey, we'll take it.
okay, okay, a slight shift that it's very interesting to be alive right now, and some things are exciting me about what's unfolding. So, I still am a Virgo, and I still am probably
Yes,
that
you are.
spirit
Yes, you
who,
are.
yes, the density of earth is a much and has been much for me. So
Yes.
I am going to say that I would probably trade being here and go back
Hmm.
home. I would not mind it. But okay, we're here and we're going to keep it going. The other thing that I learned, that
Uh
I'm
huh.
learning, or that I've learned, is that God is consciousness. God is
Yes.
consciousness. And also that my reality is based on what I believe about myself, what I think, the word, what's in between, what's in my consciousness. And
Right.
so, that those are things that I've been learning.
Which
And
is the law of mentalism, which
yes,
is
yes,
where you're going tonight.
yes.
And so for us mystic Christians, I don't want us to get, caught up with the whole, oh, this is not the Bible. Yes, it is the Bible. The law of mentalism is actually the Bible. And if you go to Proverbs 23:7, did I tell you?
Yes, you
Where
did.
it
I'm gonna put it
says,
up on the screen here.
yeah, as a man thinketh in his heart, and
Mhm.
heart meaning the divine, his divine nature, his internal nature, his internal oneness. What he believes in there is what's going to show up out here. So as a
Mm.
man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Now, if we
So
just gonna, if we're gonna just put it in 2025 language, what you think about is what you become.
is what you become. So that leads me right into the divine frequency. And I am holding this book up because I really want people to go out and get this book. This is my coach, Abriola Abrams, and she just dropped this book right here, The Divine Frequency. And it's definitely talking about the universal laws. And so this
Yes.
first law that we're going to talk about, and we're shifting into this conversation before we start diving into health, joy, and prosperity.
Right.
My man, Reverend Ike. Okay, and I know that's your dude because that's where you've been trained. So this conversation is going to be right up your alley. But before we
Yeah.
do it, I wanted to talk about these universal laws that, whether or not we believe them and that we know that they exist, and we
Right.
and they and we activate them as well. So it's I think it's best that we talk about them so that we can understand how to embody these laws so that they
Mm-hmm.
work for us and not against us. And so
Absolutely.
don't yeah,
Because
so the
that's what they
first,
are for.
that's what they're
You're
for.
absolutely right.
So we can, yeah. So the first chapter introduces the law of mentalism in the book, and is drawn from a hermetic philosophy that everything is created by thought. And so Abiola, she emphasizes that in the book, that your mind is the origin of your reality. So we should stop right there for a minute, because if you're talking about everything that is created is through thought, and then we tie that into this scripture, because this is important, because we all have been taught to follow the Bible, to
Right.
read the scriptures and follow. So for as he thinks, so is he. That is what this law
Right.
is talking about. So your thoughts are not just fleeting ideas. We're not just like random thoughts. I know they feel like that though. Sometimes they do. I have so many thoughts that come through my head. So sometimes it feels like, where are these thoughts coming from? They're fleeting, and you hear that thoughts come and go, but really
Yeah.
they are the blueprint to build our own world. And that's
Right.
what's getting to be exciting to me, like really understanding that, coming to my remembrance, and like, oh my goodness, because if this is true, and even if you don't believe it, but let's just say that this is true, that means that you can create your reality, whatever it is that you
Absolutely.
want, right?
Absolutely.
You're getting excited.
Absolutely. But no matter what, this is the thing, Deb. No matter what, you're
Mhm.
creating it no matter what,
No matter,
whether you
oh,
believe it
exactly.
or not.
Not.
So you are always creating. We're never not creating. This
Mm,
moment here, you and I, we have had this moment before because we've lived this life before. So there's nothing new under the sun, which is quoted from your Bible. That's exactly what it means. It can't be anything new because God Himself knows Himself, and He's just creating these experiences in Himself in us as we individuate into this earth realm, which is our
hmm
journey, our
Yeah.
soul's journey. So yes, it has to make sense that whatever we think in our heart and believe in our heart, it has to come to fruition. We do it all the time. You can be thinking about somebody 1,000 miles away, and you have not heard from that person in so long, and then all of a sudden you go on social media, and in your box, hey girl, and you're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
That's the law of mentalism in action. And because we don't always see laws as actionable things that we're constantly participating in, we have a disconnection from it, or we
Because
have some dissidence.
yes, and this point just came to me when you say that we don't see laws as action because we see laws as something that we have to follow, not that
Yes.
we have a stake in it, that we are actually creating from that law. And so, yeah, yeah. And I don't want to, I love this conversation because it's empowering for me. It is
Hmm.
very empowering for me. It gives me so much stake in the game, and I like that. I like that I can control it. So you are in control of your reality.
Yes.
I don't
Yes.
know that everybody really wants to kind of accept that. Why do
And
you
it's
think
okay.
it's hard? Well, why do you think it's so hard for people to accept that
Do
you
you
are
want to
creating this?
accept? Okay, so I'll just use me. I want to accept having molestation in my journey. It's dissidence. It's a disconnection. Do I want to feel responsible in some way for something that went horribly wrong in my life, or something that I'm not proud of? And instead of seeing the lesson in the not proud of, instead of seeing the lesson in it all, I can't see the lesson in it all because I see the shame of it all. And so that's what I think.
Mhm.
I,
Mhm.
I don't think that we always want to see that.
Mhm.
It's much easier to see externally outside of ourselves than to see what is this experience teaching me about who I am. No,
Mhm.
because no one should be touched. See, you
Mhm.
see what I'm no one should be abused.
Mhm.
But here we sit, and there are many people being abused, and even in the abuse, their soul has a journey. And
Yeah.
their soul isn't the abuse. Their soul is a part of the oneness. And in this experience of whatever it is that we go through, we
Mhm.
will be always protected. And we are always protected. And we're always one. And I know it doesn't always feel that way,
Mm.
but whether you can grasp it or not, it is what it is. You're just not here by yourself, you know.
And even if we look at just our everyday lives, whenever we get up in the morning, and let's just say your day, you get up in the morning and you get up with all of these beliefs about what's going to be today, you are really
Mm-hmm.
setting the tone for that. So if you're looking for a job, or you are, having a relationship and things are happening in your relationship and you are thinking negative thoughts, if you're thinking, I'm not going to get the
Mm-hmm.
job, or somebody out there better than me, and how
Right.
could I possibly do this because I don't even know it, I don't have a degree. A lot of people say I don't have a degree. So it doesn't take a degree. It doesn't. It takes between your head. Now I know it's not even about the PhD that I have. I just was on that journey because I love school, right?
Right, because that
Uh,
was your journey. Because
right.
that's how it was going to come. Like, you had to get to a level of intelligence for your breakthrough to feel like a breakthrough. Oh,
But I
it
also
is.
feel like if I but my thoughts are also recreating my reality. It doesn't matter if you have a PhD or not. If you're
Mm-mm.
thinking sloppy thoughts, then you create sloppiness in your reality. And so a lot of people are doing that are quote unquote smart, and but
Yeah, it has nothing to do with that. You're right. It has
nothing.
all to do with your thoughts. But if it comes through a PhD, that is your journey's experience. That's your experience. That's your
Mhm.
soul's. I'm sorry. That's your soul's experience, and it just happens to come through a PhD with you, where it may come through a trade with someone else, or it may not come through education at all with someone else. But it's just our journey, and to equate it to someone else is really to to believe in
Yourselves, and we
division.
should,
Yeah,
yes, and we shouldn't be comparing ourselves
separation.
anyway.
Hmm.
Exactly. No.
Yeah.
Well, why is this so important for people to get that whatever you think, you create? And Abiola, she calls this your mind a magic wand. She's saying
Yes.
that your mind is a magic wand, and by shifting your thoughts deliberately with focus and intentional thinking, you begin to shape your external world, shape your reality.
Yes.
It's exciting
Yes.
to me. That is exciting to me because
Yes.
we can control that. And if you knew that you could get up tomorrow and create your entire day based on what you thought, then what would you be thinking?
Oh,
You would be
absolutely.
thinking about what you're thinking.
You would be thinking about what you were thinking.
Yeah,
I love that whole beautiful picture of your mind being your
your
wand.
magic
Your
wand.
your Florence Scovel, she shares the same thought, a school of thought, that your mind is your wand. And I do too. I believe that. I know that I can create havoc or I can create grace. I can create whatever it is that I am, embracing and believing at that moment. It's
Hmm.
all coming from me. And I love the way Reverend Ike says, he says, you meet no one but you. You meet no one
Yes.
but you.
Gosh, you only meet yourself.
That's all you meet. You meet different versions of yourself. And those versions that's outwardly looking at you are just mirrors on things that you need to work on. I had a coworker, Deb,
Hmm.
and this lady used to, we taught in the same classroom, and this lady used to irritate me to no end. And I had a friend to pull me to the side. Oh my gosh, she could just open her mouth and it would irritate me. Like she would say,
Oh, yeah.
"Oh,
I
y'all
do know.
need and yeah." Oh God, don't talk, lady.
Yeah.
you know.
That's like when people sing to you when they're talking. That's annoying. Don't sing
Oh
it.
my God. And then
Yeah.
she's a really cheap teacher. So we worked with the top 1% of the school, and a lot of them didn't have food. And so every Friday we would feed our kids and send home food with them. And she would always want to so anyway, this is me. This is me back then. And I'm just really having an issue with her. And so I became really disrespectful. And my friend pulled me to the side and she says, "What in her do you hate about yourself?"
Wow. What a lesson. What,
And
what did you do? I love that.
looked sheepish, and um, I gave her the biggest hug. She taught me in behavioral stuff. She was my mentor. She's my sister. I love her. I gave her a hug, and I said, "Okay, I'm going to think about it over Christmas." And she says, "Okay." Christmas holiday went, and we came back, and I said, "She reminds me of what people thought about me in school, ignorant."
Oh, I see.
And I
I
had to
see.
heal that little girl. And my friend said the same thing. She said, "Wow." I said, "So her outward expression of that made me feel so uncomfortable. And it made me have to look at myself and give myself grace and understand that I was not those limiting beliefs of those teachers who didn't understand a child with dyslexia." I went
Hmm.
on to school. I went on to be educated. But at that time, I was holding on to the little girl's esteem in that situation. And I was punishing that lady. I really
Yeah.
was.
Hmm.
And so I said that to say that you create that from then on, my
Hmm.
mindset changed. I healed myself, and we went on to have a pretty good relationship. We weren't best of friends, but we were really, close working coworkers. So it is. We create whether we believe it or not. We're
That's very
creating.
interesting to whenever you say someone, I hate them or this irritates me about this person, that it's all about you.
It is.
It is something about you that irritates yourself, that you're irritated by, but it's all about you. And that is just so interesting. But we don't see that. We really just don't see that. I don't think people even pay attention to that. They're just focusing on the outside. And I told you that whenever I started calling on my ancestors and they showed up, they said it's
Yeah,
about you, my dear. It's
absolutely.
about you. I think I was um yeah, talking about a family member or something, and everything kind of pointed back to me. They brought that that awareness, that level of awareness was
Yeah.
brought
It,
to
it's
me. It was
about
about
you.
myself. What
Hmm.
do you see in this person that you just hate so badly? Whatever you see, it's in you.
Oh God, it was such a
Yes,
it
that's the
was such
reason
a
why things
pointed
are so.
question.
Yeah, that's why it's so amplified. That's why it kind of pierces so hard because it is about you.
It's about me. It was about me not healing the little girl. And I'm like, oh my God. And it was a soul question. And I tell you, you have to really appreciate people in your life that's willing to ask you some soul questions. I know that that's how our friendship is. I've asked you some
Yes.
soul questions. You've
Yes.
asked me some soul questions. But when you can provoke that in someone else, you give them this experience of a deeper level of their own consciousness to be able to clean up their own energy, to be able
Mm.
to now take control of those thoughts that once felt like those thoughts were controlling you. Now you can
Mhm.
understand that you're the producer of the thoughts. And I love the way Johnny Coleman says it. The late Johnny Coleman said, it works if you work it. It
Yeah.
works if you work it. So
Yeah.
if you believe it and you work it, it's going to work. Your consciousness change and you just begin to give yourself more grace or
Yes.
compassion or
Yes.
whatever level of love that your soul is thirsting for that you haven't been able to give it because there was a limiting belief that told you not to give it to your soul.
Self. Yes. Yes.
Uh,
Absolutely. That's why I
yeah.
love having this platform so that we can stir up someone's soul. Whoever
Yes.
listens to the podcast, whoever listens to this and sees this, and we're all on our journey, and this information is coming to people whenever it's supposed to. So it's out there. Once I hit, go live, the
Right.
information is out there. And so it will run and people will see it, and hopefully they will be moved by this, and maybe
Listen,
it will stir up their souls to ask their souls some questions.
you're affecting the next generations of souls. That's how you have to look at it. Listen,
Mm,
Neville Goddard was here in the 40s. There was nothing called social media at all. But yet, millions of people wake up every morning and will meditate to something that he was teaching back in the 40s.
that's me.
Yes, me too.
I go to
Um,
sleep with him and I wake up.
Reverend Ike died in '09, but he started teaching in the 40s as well.
Hmm.
And his teachings are still teaching us. So what we're putting out here, this is all I'm saying, what we're putting out here is content, is going to find the soul, whether it's now or
Or later.
100 years from now. And they
Hmm.
stumble upon these two ladies and they hear this conversation and it sparks their soul to live in the existence in which it's supposed to exist, oneness.
I'm happy about that. I'm so happy
Yeah,
about that. That just makes me so excited. These are the
yeah,
things that make me excited about being here on
yeah,
earth. And
yes.
today I was feeling very emotional today, and I don't even know why I was crying. Well, I do know why I was crying, but most of the time I tried to avoid it. I tried to resist it. Today, I just allowed it to happen. I allowed myself to just be emotional. And one of my sister friends called me, and she's into astrology and everything, and she's starting to talk about the solstice. Uh, I
Mm,
guess. time that's happening right now, and
Yes.
that this is happening to the collective. She said, don't make it about you. It's about the collective as well. So everyone is feeling these emotions. There are big shifts that's happening in the universe. So she just gave me permission to just go on, and I'm recovering a
Hmm.
lot sooner. Sometimes when I get emotional, I just go all in on creation. I do. Whoever's listening, guides, angels, everybody, I'm like, this is a mess down here and I want to change it, and this is what I do. I'm honestly, I that's what I do. But I am I'm doing a lot better. I tell you, people, you think that you have it all together because I'm supposed to act a certain way or think a certain way or be a certain way because of the ego, but it's not. I feel like a kid. I don't know anything. I'm learning. I'm
Yes,
remembering
I'm
who I am.
learning.
I know nothing, you know?
Yes, I'm learning, and I love
Yes.
it. I forgot who said, when I'm teaching, I'm learning, and when I'm learning, I'm teaching. That's how I feel. Like, oh my God, I love having these brave conversations
Yes,
about the
brave.
soul. They
Yes,
are.
absolutely.
They are.
I'm
They're
glad you
brave
said that.
conversations.
Mhm. Mhm.
Because everyone won't get it, and it's okay that they don't, and we don't have to be invested in that. What we are invested in is giving the word with sincere love, and this, out of this pure heart, that
Mhm. Mhm.
we have such a pure heart for humanity,
Yes.
and that's
Yes.
exactly where we need to be right now.
Mhm. Mhm. Well, I appreciate that as we draw ourselves to a close, because I could just do this for an hour or two when
I
we
know.
talk about it, because I learned so much from you. And
And
so
me too. I learned from you. I
so
learned from
I
you.
want to give some practical takeaways, from for this the scripture, and also for this the law of mentalism. And just start to notice your thoughts. Pay attention to
Mhm.
what you're thinking and notice those habitual thoughts that you have over and over again, and change them. Be intentional about what you choose to think about. Think about what you're thinking and reflect on the desired reality that you choose, that you want. So, what is it that you want when you
Mhm.
wake up tomorrow? What is it that you want your day to look like? How cool is that you can get up and you can dictate what your day is going to be like
Mhm.
based on what you're thinking? That's
Yeah,
cool,
I love that
people.
word, dictate. I love that word. I love
Yes,
it because it gives a clear picture of demanding, or not demanding, but commanding your day.
commanding. Yes,
Just to
yes.
command it, for it to be orchestrated the way you want it to
The
happen.
way that you want. I
And
was
be
listening to
open to a better version of it if how the universe wants to give it to you.
Yes, exactly. I was listening to Dolores Cannon. Of course, that's one of your teachers again. But I was listening
Um,
to her today talking about this very thing.
yeah.
You have everything inside of you to create and dictate and command your reality to be for that day. So she was just like, yeah, so as a matter of fact, you can just kind of put your order in. Put your order in. You got gods, you got angel guides, you got your ancestors, you have your whole spiritual team on
Yes.
top of creation itself. So you can just put your order in for the day. What is it that you want for that day? What is it that you want coming up down the road? Just put your order in. And she's like, yeah, as a matter of fact, we just do that. And whenever we have a new project coming up, we just tell our guides, this is exactly what we want. We want to fill this room. We want to fill this arena with many people that we're going to be speaking to. And she says,
Yes.
and guess what? The arena is filled. So she said, you have to be consistent with this, family out there. You have to be consistent. Don't just do it for one day. And this is another point that I want to bring up, is that this is not a vacation. This light work is not a vacation. It's
Oh,
not.
this is
It
lifestyle.
Yeah, and it's not it's called light work for a reason, because you're working through these things, right? This is
Yeah.
Nothing is going to just happen for you. You have to do the work. And if
You
you
do.
don't want to do the work now, it's okay. I understand. I wasn't doing
Okay.
the work before now, but No, I've always been doing the work. Bull crap. I've always been doing the work. I've been doing the work blind, but I've been doing the work. And so hold your thoughts and make them clear and consistent. Be consistent with what you are thinking, right? That's what I
Mhm.
think that
Yeah.
Abiola is stressing in the book, that, and she also stressed that it's less important like where you start. Some people want to start ahead of the game. Some people are thinking about, well, I don't know anything. My thoughts
Mm.
are all over the place. So she's
Mm.
saying that that's not important about how stuck you feel, about how messy your thoughts are. That's not
I
the
love
most
that.
important thing. It's more
I love that.
important for you to practice the new thought
That's
repeatedly,
right.
be consistent until you rewrite your own internal blueprint.
That's
That's what you
right.
should be doing.
I
Yeah,
love
that's
that.
my
I
coach.
absolutely love that. I love how she puts that. That is
Yes.
awesome.
Any
That is
final
awesome.
words for the audience before we go? Any final words from you?
My only final word would what match your feeling with your thought. You cannot have them up here. In order for them to be balanced, in order for you to be your own tithe and come into your own storehouse, you really do have to match the feeling of your with that thought. So that's
Mm-hmm.
really important. Just notice your thoughts and notice your feeling around that thought, because that's what's coming through. You
Mm-hmm.
cannot
Yes.
fool the universe. You just can't fool the universe.
Oh, you
You
cannot trick
can't
the
you can't
universe.
speak one word one way and your thoughts be a different way, or
Mm-hmm.
your feelings be a different way. It has to coalesce.
It has to match up, family. So if you're out there listening, listen, it has to match up. Think about what you're thinking.
Hmm.
Imagine tomorrow morning when you wake up and you are going to create a mental blueprint for yourself before you step out of the door for the day. Your words, your attitudes, your
Hmm.
beliefs about what's going to happen is going to lay the foundation for that day. That is the genius of the law of mentalism. So,
Yes.
yes, I'd like to thank you all for joining us this week, this week. I hope that something that we said has stirred up your soul and brought you closer to your divine oneness. And we will be here again next week, same time, same place. And we're going to be looking at another law. I'm going to be pulling some laws from this book here, Abiola Abrams, The Divine Frequency. Go out, pick that up. You can pick that up on Amazon. So, I appreciate you so much. I do. And I appreciate our
Thank you.
friendship. I'm so glad our sisterhood. And thank you to
Thank
you.
you, my love.
All right. Well, peace and love, people. We out of here. We love you. We'll see you next week.
Have a
Bye.
great one.